Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to be reviewing the top 10 sales for UFC single cards over the past 6 days. Normally we do a full week, but because I moved the schedule back a day last week, this period is from December 2nd through December 8th. So let's get started. The number 10 card is the 2009 Topps UFC Round 1 Joe Rogan Silver at a 288 and a PSA 7. That was $1,275. Very iconic card of one of the most popular prominent figures in UFC culture and history, one of the most popular human beings on the entire planet. There's only 288 of these. I'm trying to see the serial numbers on the back. So 192 of 288. So there's not much aesthetically pleasing about this card itself, but what it means in UFC history and the fact it's from the first licensed set ever in UFC history, UFC Round 1, put out by Topps. This is certainly an iconic card and worthy of a collection, and that's why I went for $1,275. Coming in at number 9, we have the 2025 Topps Chrome UFC Carlos Prates rookie red refractor out of 5. It's not graded, it is raw, which is interesting. Anytime somebody spends a lot of money on a raw card, the first thing I try to do is look at the card and see, these pictures are so, well, this one isn't too bad, but the top is cut off. It's hard to tell if the edge there has fraying. I mean, if you don't grade your cards and you're just adding it to your collection, that's fine, but let's see. Back doesn't look too bad. It's a little off center, a little thin on the left maybe, a little thicker on the right, unless my eyes are playing tricks on me. Anyway, out of 5, signed, cool card. So it was up for $1,800 or best offer. Ended up selling for $1,500 on December 8th. So now on to the number 8 card in the countdown for this week. This card is so sick. It's probably my favorite card, or my second favorite card out of these 10 cards. 1 of 1 Gina Carano rookie from 2010 Leaf National Pride. No Topps card. I'm assuming that means Gina Carano was not featured in Topps. I'm assuming it was a licensing issue. UFC BGS 9 of 9. So 9 of 9 is the grade, and the 1 of 1 is how many of the cards were made. So let's take a look. So 9 auto, 9 gray, 10 centering, 9 corners, 9 edges, 9 surface. There you go. 1 of 1 stamped on there. So why did the auto get a 9? Maybe because it got cut off on the sticker here. It looks bold. I've seen some 10 autos hit when it goes beyond the sticker. That's interesting. Anyway, very aesthetically pleasing card of an all-time great with big name recognition, especially in the history of the UFC just in general. So it went for $1,691. I would have added a card like this to my collection. I don't know if this is the best card that's ever been made of Gina Carano. I know when I used to watch UFC years ago, and she was an active fighter. I mean, she was one of the biggest names and the most popular fighters, male or female. So this would be a cool piece of history to look into. I need to start doing videos on fighters, single fighter dive-ins and some of their greatest cards. Maybe that'll be the next series I do, where I try to add in every once in a while. Maybe I'll pick Gina Carano and do a deep dive of her top 10 most desirable cards that have ever been issued for her. Be a fun project. So that was number 8 in the list. So now we go to number 7. Number 7 is a very cool card. So I love cards like this for multiple reasons. So 2009 Topps UFC Round 1, St. Pierre blue auto card. So you have the most iconic set ever in UFC history. You have, again, what I love with the action shot on the front, but what makes this mask interesting, that was fought on January 31st, 2004 at UFC 46. This was St. Pierre's debut. So you actually see his debut fight on the card itself with the auto. Home run of a card. I'd love to know how many they estimate are printed of the blue autos. So this is raw. You can see the edges are beat up. You see the white all along here. So it wouldn't grade well. There's no way to hit a 7, maybe a 6 or a 5, depending on how rough they are on the edges. I wouldn't even grade that card unless you just want to protect it. So it's up for $2,000 or best offer. Ended up selling for $1,800. And there's a really great shot of the card right there. I mean, you just see his abs ripped. He's like has flexing going on. His muscles are popping. Amazing pose, a kick to the head. This guy doesn't look like he knows what's going on. He's like, holy shit, I'm fighting this guy. But this was St. Pierre's first fight, so his legacy was just beginning. But his intensity coming through in his face there, it's a super, super card. On to number 6. This is a pretty gorgeous card too. I wish they would have designed the outside a little bit more interesting, but it is what it is. 2024 Topps Knockout UFC Umar Islam Khabib Triple Auto. Man, such a cool card. This card is not numbered, I don't believe. It's not in the listing. I just want to confirm on the card. I don't see a number. Not on the back. Triple Auto at 3 all-time greats. Went for $1,874 from DC Sports, another popular consigner who's starting to get more stock of UFC cards. It seems like every week I check them, more and more they're getting more UFC cards, which is great for the hobby. So let's see. I think we're on to number, is this 5? Let me see. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So yeah, we're on the 5. So this is the top 5. So 2009 Topps UFC Round 1 Gold, the Griffin Bonar PSA 10. So, I mean, PSA 10 of a card from this set is really tough, especially around these edges here. It's the gold edition of the card. I'm not sure if the gold, I don't remember what the print run on the gold edition is. I should know that. If I remember correctly, it is more limited, but it is not numbered. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see, this was April 9th, 2005 at Tough 1. If I'm not mistaken, let's do a little experiment here. Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonar are famous for their 3-round fight and Ultimate Fighter 1 finale, which is why I consider, yeah, so this fight is in the UFC Hall of Fame. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I remembered that. It's why they consider one of the most important fights in UFC history and helped save the company. So I did a video on this fight a couple weeks ago, reviewing the fight, talking about its place in history, the fighters themselves, this card, the lore around it, the set itself. So if you want to check out that video, it's a couple videos back. But yeah, this fight arguably saved the UFC from failing just because of the intensity, the heart that the fighters showed. I mean, like, look at how they looked. I mean, let's pull up this image here, like, from the fight. Like, they just beat the hell. But yeah, number 5 on the list. Because it was up for $3,500 or best offer through PSA and a 10. Pop 1, which probably is the reason why this went for so much. So of the golds, there are only 7 total graded with 110. So the higher end whales that collect UFC and they want this card and they know what it means to the hobby and the culture, it's a no-brainer. Ended up going for, on the right side, you can see here, or in the middle, $2,000. So they asked $3,500, they got $2,000 and just crushed it. Great card. On to number 4. Barallo 2025 Topps Finest UFC Showstopper Superfractor 1 of 1. So he did the 1 of 1, he signed it, and then he put on little eyeglasses around his face, which I've never seen on a car before. That's pretty cool. Shows his personality and his character, which he absolutely has tons of that. Good pictures of the card. I like when sellers do the corners on each of these. In a perfect world, the card be taken out of the sleeve, out of the holder, and put on a black background so we can see it better. But it's better than nothing. At least you get an idea. The card looks like it went right from the pack. There's a little white on the corner there. The black makes it so tough to grade. Good looking card. So again, this is like an eBay glitch. So it was up for 1,000 bid or best offer. So it shows one bid, but that bid, which came through best offer, if you believe Card Ladder, which we do in this situation, it went for $3,000. Big money card from a big fighter. One of the best middleweights in the world. So we're going to keep it moving on to the next one, which I believe, let me see, 1, 2. So this is 3. So this is number 3 on the list. 2025 Topps Chrome UFC Ilya Sapphire Selection Superfractor 101 PSA 10. So Ilya, one of the most popular dynamic fighters, most respected. I'd say one of the highest upsides in the hobby from collectors. That's how they look at a card or this type of fighter. You have Topps Sapphire, which is a premium product. You have it in a PSA 10, Pop 1. And obviously it's a Pop 1. I shouldn't have said that. Pop 1, because it's only a 1 of 1. But the 1 of 1 did get the 10. Gorgeous card. So it's up for $10,000 or best offer. So obviously fishing for a number. What did they end up getting? They ended up getting $4,005. I'm usually not a fan of, let me rephrase that. I'm a fan of the Sapphire concept, but some of the designs and the subsets I'm not a fan of. So I like the card and I like the Superfractor, but I hate the nameplate down here. I don't know why. There's just something about it that it takes away from the card. It makes it seem too clunky, if that makes sense. So not a visually high appeal card for me, but there are parts of it that are, but overall, I don't love it, but I like it. So that was number 3. On to number 2. We have 2012 Topps UFC Bloodlines Khabib Black with the aftermarket auto added. So this auto was not pulled from the pack. These cards were not signed from the pack, but it was added after by the fighter to private signing. Ran into them in the streets, at the gym. Who knows what happened here. But we click on it. The card is numbered out of 88. It is signed in silver. I like that the signature is in silver. I don't like it crossed over with this texture and there's bumps here. But the one part that's cool is that the signature doesn't cover the face or the action shot up here. But yeah, cool card. 6,500 or best offer. Ended up going for 4,500. I think this was an overpay. I'm not sure what the base 2012 Topps Bloodlines Khabib goes for. Actually, let's look that up. So I'm going to jump back to this one here. So that's the black, right? So let's just look this up for the purpose of research. Bloodlines, Khabib. I think it was a black, right? So, wow, I was totally wrong on that. So the PSA 8 without the auto did 4,000 back in September. The PSA 7 did 1,425. 7 did 1,492. I don't know how many subsets were in 2012 Topps Bloodlines. I'm assuming there had to be another one. I don't know if they had 101s back then. I'm assuming they did for this set. But this must be like the card they get for Khabib. So in April, it went for 3,500 and an 8, jumped to 4,000, up to an 8. Ooh, look at this one. Holy cow. So so this is the PSA 9 went for 10,000, pop 2. Holy cow. $10,000 for a base Khabib. Sorry, not for a base Khabib. I mean, an unsigned Khabib out of 88. I can't see the total pop on that because that's the auto, so that's going to be misleading. Can I pull it up on this listing? Boost sales of this car. Nah, it won't let me. Oh, here we go, pop data. So of this card, the black out of 88, 24 total graded, no 10s. That's why the 9 went for over $10,000. Holy cow. So with that in mind, 4,500 seems like a steal. His auto's got to be worth 500 added to this card, and it's got to be the only one signed in any grade, I would imagine. So that is awesome. That's an awesome card. And moving on to number 1, and I kind of picked this up in a previous video, but now this is the capping. This is the number 1 sale over the past 6 days. We'll call it a week just to keep it simple. The 1 of 1 Valentina Dana White, Thoughts from the Boss Superfractor, stunning card. I mean, something about the Superfractor design just resonates with me and obviously a lot of other collectors. The blue bold ink on the gold just pops off the card. You have 2 dynamic photos that just go well. I don't know if I would spend this much money on a card like this because I like action shots and I like relics, but this card is awesome. And the Thoughts from the Boss has been a subset for many years and collectors love it. And it is widely collected and people try to complete the rainbow of the Thoughts from the Boss, but they also try to get every Thoughts from the Boss subset within each year. So it drives the wheel of collectability and keeps the momentum going, which is wonderful for the hobby. So that is number 1. So my favorite card out of the top 10 is, I'm going to change my mind. So I said it was going to be the second most favorite, but I'm moving it to number 1. My favorite one out of the top 10 is the 1 of 1 2010 Leaf National Pride Gina Carano. I didn't even know this card existed, but Gina Carano resonates with me. Is an older UFC fan. When I watched UFC years ago, when it kind of first started out, at least for me, I remember her vividly, and it was fun watching her fights. And you know, she's made the news recently in the past couple of years for various reasons, which we're not going to get into on this channel. But yeah, still a huge piece of UFC history. So when that wraps up the top 10, we will end the video with an image of the number 1 card. So if you got a little bit out of this video, you learned a little something, and you enjoyed spending some time with me, which I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to watch these videos, please leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps out the algorithm. Whatever that pesky algorithm is trying to figure out, all the help we can get would be appreciated. Please subscribe if you want to get daily UFC videos regarding cards, collectibles, singles, sets, anything in between that catches my eye. And with all that being said, be safe, stay healthy, drink your water, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you again very soon.